Now to Venezuela, and this is where President Trump is imposing a full economic embargo on the country. This means he's freezing any Venezuelan government assets here in the United States. And this would also block all property and assets of the government and its officials. This is while prohibiting any transactions with them, including the Venezuelan Central Bank and state oil company. Now, Nicolas Maduro, in a televised address, called the sanctions imposed by the U.S. government illegal. And Venezuela's foreign ministry said Tuesday the sanctions are part of an effort to formalize a criminal, economic, financial, and commercial blockade that has already started. Now, the Trump administration has continued to back opposition leader Juan Guaido as turmoil continues in the country, even though most outlets aren't reporting anymore. A U.S. aircraft carrier sailed through the disputed South China Sea on Tuesday in what U.S. military officials have called a show of strength amid increased tensions between China and other countries in the region. RT's Rachel Blevins joins me now with all the latest. Rachel, what do we know so far about this sailing through the sea? Was it just a simple sailor's jaunt?
Well, the U.S. military announced that an aircraft carrier had sailed through the disputed South China Sea today on its way to the Philippines for a port visit. Now, this was the USS Ronald Reagan, and it was transporting around 70 supersonic FA-18 jets, spy planes, and helicopters. Also on board were a group of generals and officials from the Philippines, as well as a group of journalists. Now, they have traveled through the South China Sea, which is a waterway that has been the subject of disputes over territory for decades. While China claims to own more than 80% of the South China Sea, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Brunei have also claimed to own portions of territory there. So the United States knew that by doing this, there was a chance that they would create some international controversy.
Well, obviously, and you dived in a little bit, but I want to go even more in depth. How have tensions increased recently in this region as we hear stories every day coming out of all those countries specifically?
Well, one of the most important things to remember about this region is that the South China Sea is believed to have a massive reserve of natural resources, such as oil and gas. And we've seen little disputes breaking out between China and Vietnam, Malaysia, and the Philippines in recent months, but this all comes after tensions reached new heights last year when China transformed 7 disputed reefs into islands and then installed a missile defense system there. Now, the United States claims that its only role in this is to protect its allies in the region, but both the U.S. and China have accused one another of acting provocatively here and of trying to interfere in territory that is not theirs.
That's the thing I'm looking at. They installed a military defense system they put on these 3 islands. Obviously, that's a very aggressive move. But at this point, what has the U.S. said about this latest incident that's happened?
Well, this is not the first time that the United States has used its military to try to display a show of force in the region, and a Navy admiral said that the U.S. is completely in compliance with international law. He also went on to claim that the presence of the U.S. military is not for the purpose of choosing sides in the conflict, but to provide stability and security while talks are carried out between opposing countries. Now, in addition to openly criticizing China's actions in the region, the United States is also in the midst of this ongoing trade war with China, and it's important to remember that as one of the busiest waterways in the world, the South China Sea is a vital tool in all of this because it's estimated that more than $3.3 trillion worth of global trade flows through that waterway every single year.
Well, Rachel, in this case, the American adage is walk softly and carry a big stick. In this case, sail softly and carry a big ship. Thank you so much for joining us, Rachel.
Thank you.